Hi, I'm Nancy Blotner. At Caldwell University, we believe that all citizens should be informed about the important issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Celebrating the gift of life, next on Caucus, New Jersey.
Funding for this edition of Caucus, New Jersey has been provided by TD Bank, the New Jersey Education Association, University Hospital, Newark, New Jersey, QualCare, Inc., a local managed care company covering 750,000 New Jersey residents, the Russell Berry Foundation, the Ohlendorf Center, and by Caldwell University. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
Welcome to Caucus, New Jersey. I'm Steve Adubato. You know, there are nearly 5,000 New Jersey residents waiting for an organ transplant. Here in the studio to discuss their giving and receiving the so-called gift of life, we have Tracy Amati, who is in fact a kidney transplant recipient, Donna Albanese DeMare, who donated her kidney to her mother, Larry Bologna is a liver transplant recipient, and finally Pam Drozd is a donor family member. I want to thank all of you for joining us. We're doing this in partnership with the New Jersey Sharing Network, and you'll see that website up if you want to find out more information, and more importantly, if you want to actually, you know, make a decision that makes a huge difference in the lives of others. What's your story?
I was on dialysis for 5 years. My son, he stepped up and he said that he wanted to see if he was a donor, and he was a match.
For your kidney?
For my kidney. And we participated in the kidney exchange program.
7 years you're on dialysis?
5.
5, okay.
5 years. And they found a match, a husband and wife team. And my son gave to the wife, and the husband gave to me. And it was a perfect match.
Let's back up. Your son, Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, yes.
So this match, this is fascinating. When the Sharing Network folks told us about this, I said, how does this work again? So there are two people involved on that end and this end.
Yes.
So what goes on?
They go through a testing and just see who's a match. Luckily, it was just my son and I, and then a husband and wife team. Sometimes it's larger. It could be as large as 25 couples.
That's you and your son?
Yeah, yeah.
That
was a year after my my surgery, the transplant.
Describe the difference, Tracy, before and after.
I can't even say. When I was on dialysis, I was completely drained. I was living, but I wasn't living. That even though that dialysis is a life-saving situation, but it just pulls all the energy out of me. And I feel that even I lost part of my life.
Quality of life much better now? I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, it was. Or I should say it is. I could do so much more, and I'm truly living. And now I feel that I'm living for those. Because when you're on dialysis, you develop friendships. And out of the 5 years that I was on dialysis, I saw so many people die compared to the 53 years of life that I live. So that when you look at that, that's really, really traumatic. So I feel that I'm not only living for myself, I'm living for them because they lost their fight.
Your message to everyone right now watching it?
Just, you know, get more information about organ donation and just see, and the more information you have, you are well informed to make that decision to donate.
Check this out. Before I go to you, Donna, a couple things. One donor can save up to 8 lives and restore health to 50 others. Organ donation occurred in less than 1% of all deaths in the United States. The organs that can be transplanted include, and if I'm wrong on this, I know that all of you will correct me, heart, kidney, liver, lungs, pancreas, and intestines. Now, Donna, you donate your kidney to your mom 13 years ago.
Correct.
Talk about the situation.
Well, there's good news and the bad news. The good news is Mom is alive and well 13 years later. And Steve, I think a lot of people don't realize when you save a life, you save a family, you save a community. It's not just her life that I saved. Where would my dad be without her, right? Where would I be without a mom? And all the grandchildren, they have brunch every weekend together. You know, so 13 years is, we're just so grateful. And people think they have troubles, but the truth is, you know, we count our blessings every day. We appreciate, you know, our health, and we're here and we're together. And that's what life is about. It's about family, it's about our communities.
Why'd you do it?
Well, you know, she gave me 2 initially, so I gave her 1 back. It was kind of a no-brainer, you know?
Yeah.
It's, you know, she's my mom. We went to St. Barnabas Medical Center. We spoke to Dr. Mugunkar, Chief of Transplant.
He's great.
He's an amazing man. And my husband, who's actually here today, he came to drive me, so supportive. This is a family event. Everybody gets involved. And I said to my husband, I'm considering donating a kidney to my mom. What do you think? And he always has the best answers. He said, if it were my mom, I wouldn't hesitate to donate.
Yeah.
And that's really all I needed, to know that I have the support of my children. And it's just a beautiful thing that she's still here.
I often, you know, when I use the expression full disclosure, it's usually because we have some business relationship somewhere with full disclosure. My wife was operated on by Dr. Mugunkar when she gave her kidney to her brother. And so that's why our family knows a little bit about this subject. It's a powerful thing. On your end, Larry, you were diagnosed with hepatitis C in 1995?
Correct.
And developed liver
Cancer. Yes, a hepatoma.
You received a phone call at 2 a.m., November 2005, that a kidney was available. Pick up the story from there.
A liver was available.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. A liver was available.
Correct.
My apologies. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, going back just a tiny bit, basically having hepatitis C and having cancer, not only was I, you know, waiting for the liver transplant to come, but I also had to make sure that the cancer didn't spread. Because once the cancer spreads, then you're ineligible for your liver transplant. So I'm fighting both ends. Yeah, I got that call 2 o'clock in the morning, and you know when you get a call 2 o'clock in the morning, it's either somebody passed away, somebody's sick, or it's an accident. Thank God, it was a good thing. And the doctor at Columbia Presbyterian told me that basically we have a liver, we think that should be good for you.
Back up. Was it a young woman?
It was a young woman.
Was she killed?
It was down south, was killed on a Saturday night, and that's usually the night where most organs become available, unfortunately. And one good thing for me was that the size of the liver makes a big difference. So if I was a strapping, giant young man, I probably wouldn't have been eligible for that liver. It was a young lady, short like me, and that was the first time shortness ever was good in my life. That they said they'd come down, well, let's hope everything goes well when we look at the liver, and hopefully you'll be transplanted.
Describe the period of time waiting and then the ride down to the hospital.
Well, basically, once you know that you're going to have a transplant, it's like, you know, you're saying, well, how am I going to get a transplant? Well, you go to your family members. At least for a liver, you can get a partial, you know, transplant of someone's healthy liver. My family members were ineligible, unfortunately, so I had to go down the list of regular, getting on the list and making sure that I was going to get one. And it's havoc. I mean, you basically feel like you're hanging on the edge of a mountain and you're going to fall off at any minute. So, you know, hoping that the cancer doesn't spread, hoping you'll get it, the liver in time, and then basically finally getting that call. And it was interesting because he says, it's almost like having a baby. Don't rush, get here, but be safe and don't get in an accident. So he says, okay, we'll do that. So we grabbed our bag. I had a bag already packed, and just like when you're pregnant. You're
ready.
And I was ready, and I got there, and all I remember is being wheeled down the hallway to the OR and saying, thank God. Hopefully I'm either going to wake up healthy or I won't know anything about it after that. And
what happened when you woke up?
When I woke up, I was in intensive for about 24 hours. And the doctor told me, he says, everything went well. You know, you didn't even get any blood. So thank God. You know, and I was pretty healthy because I had gone to the gym and stuff, so I think my body was in good shape. And in 10 days, I was out of the hospital and back home.
What's your life like now?
I try to dedicate myself now to helping people that need, I'm in healthcare, so I try to make sure that wherever I can help somebody that's worried about something, I try to expedite it for them. And I think that's important. I think that's why I'm still here today.
Before I go to Pam, what's your message to everybody watching right now? Who says, hey, this is inspiring, this is motivating, it's powerful, I'm happy for some of these folks. But what am I supposed to do? What do you say to them?
Well, I would say don't wait until it confronts you or your family member. Get involved, learn about it, get on, be a
What could
donor.
someone do? They're renewing their license. What can they do?
Renew your license, basically make sure you check off that you want to be a donor. It's very important. If you don't have a license, there's other ways to go on the website to get information on how to become a donor.
Yeah.
And get involved with organizations like New Jersey Sharing.
Make a difference.
I have something about that. It's very interesting because people often say, well, I don't know if I want to be a donor, because that's really an awesome responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy decision. But look at it this way. If you needed, would you be willing to receive, right?
Changes the question, doesn't it?
If a family member, if you're willing to receive, should you consider giving?
It's a good way to look at it. And Pam, your husband, Mike?
Yes.
Tell us about him and tell us what happened and the unbelievable thing that you and Mike did that changed the lives of so many others.
Well, Mike was killed in a car accident back in 2008. And when I arrived at the hospital that night, I had already known what his wishes were. Oddly enough, even though we were a young couple living life as good as it could be, you know, getting married, planning a family, one night we sat down and had a conversation.
You did?
We did.
Why?
We are both volunteer firefighters, and we had to fill out paperwork. And are you an organ donor was a question. And I had checked off no, and he had checked off yes. And that sparked a conversation. And he said that, you know, if anything happened to him, he wanted to give whatever he could because somebody else could use it. He wanted to make a difference in somebody else's life. So in the hospital, when they asked me that question, it was the only question I didn't have to think about. And I knew the answer to. And it was a resounding yes. And unfortunately, he wasn't a candidate to donate his organs, but he could donate tissue. So I obviously agreed because I knew they were his wishes. And he was able to touch the lives of 57 people.
Make that clear again.
57 people. He was able to donate skin, bone, tendons, Cepheus veins, his heart valves, and his donation went everywhere. And it's just amazing to see how it's almost like a spider web, you know? I mean, it touched our family and our friends, and everybody in our circle was aware of his donation. But now there's 57 people who have family and friends and their circles who, you know, their lives were enhanced because of a decision that he made. And I'm sure it changed their life. I mean, I don't ever have to talk to them to know that their life is different because of Mike.
You know, the people who are around you and Mike, who knew you well, who knew the decision he made and what you said and how this played out, and the people who were helped, I wonder the degree to which they wind up making a different decision for themselves and say, okay, now, when my time comes, which obviously it's coming for all of us last time I checked, that they wind up making a different decision. I mean, look, we are in this business to a large extent to try to be helpful. When someone says, are you in advocacy journalism? PBS, the answer is no, except if you mean advocating on behalf of helping people.
Right.
And that's why we're doing this. So my point is, I would want people to be moved right now by what you just said.
Absolutely.
I don't know if people will be, but were those people moved?
Absolutely.
How do you know that?
Because people told me. When I first received a letter saying that Mike's donation had touched certain people and certain surgeries had occurred, I shared it. And I was getting phone calls from people saying, I went to DMV today, and I checked off my license. I want to be like Mike. If Mike could do it, I can do it.
I want to be like Mike. I like that. It's better than the commercial. In fact, why don't we put up a shot, because the Sharing Network has a terrific run coming up. There are 2 dates, right?
Yes.
Celebrating Life.
Yes.
Right. Pam's team. Is that your team?
That is my team.
Look at this. Pam, describe that as we're looking at it.
That is our team from 2013. We are wearing our signature Hawaiian shirts.
Why Hawaiian?
Hawaiian shirts, jean shorts, and work boots was Mike's favorite attire.
Wow.
He always picked a Hawaiian shirt at a party because he felt it was fun.
Now, who was this?
That's my team.
What's the Dairy Queen
That's my
thing?
team. We own a Dairy Queen. And when our story was done, Mom was transplanted. She's right there with Greg T in the middle.
Love
and
this.
Dad next to her. When she was transplanted in May, it was around Mother's Day, the newspapers did a story, and people come in and they ask questions. And we've been able to save lives because people understand the story and they come for information.
And this is Larry's team, by the way, the Celebration of Life. 5K is on April 12th. And what is June 17th?
June 7th.
June 7th.
Oh, excuse me, June 7th. What is that?
New Providence, big
that's
celebration.
the big one. I apologize. June 7th, New Providence. By the way, while that shot's up there, Larry, what is that?
That's the Valley Hospital Lifesavers, super supported by our CEO, Audrey Myers. And we had about 50 so people that joined to run in New Providence, and it was a great day.
Why do they do it?
They do it because, well, one of the things I hope is because I kicked them in the butt to get them out there. And I always tell my story every April when it's Organ Donation Month to remind
You
people.
guilt them into doing it. don't you?
Yes, I do.
I love it. Let me do this sometime we have.
Yes.
What do you say to people? First of all, there's still misconceptions, right,
Yes.
about organ, right? There are some minority issues around, racial issues around organ donation, right?
Yes.
Such as?
Definitely people feel that one
Put it on the table.
is spiritual. Well, I was born with 2 eyes and a heart and 2 lungs.
And God doesn't want you to mess with that.
Right, exactly.
And
but
you say?
I say, you know what? You need to step out of yourself and just think, and you're not going to use them afterwards. When you finally close your eyes, it's done.
So is that race or is that religion?
It's a little bit of both.
Really? Because
I think
there are, excuse me for interrupting, because there are folks who, whether they're African American or not, for religious reasons will say, no, my God says you don't mess with that.
No, but mostly all major religions, they do say that you should give.
Yeah, they consider
So
it
it's a
not just
misconception about one's own religion. It's not the right, appropriate.
Exactly.
It's
And
not a correct interpretation of one's religion.
Right, and people lean on that because it's a lot easier for them.
And the truth is?
And the truth is that we are here, we're all connected, and it's brotherly love. And I just say, well, you need to give the gift of life.
Jump in here.
Yeah.
I want to ask if you know who your donor is, and have you met your donor?
Unfortunately, I don't. I'm trying to get a hold of them through St. Barnabas Hospital, but I think that they were a little bit younger than me, and they have young kids, and I think that they're restarting their life and they just want to live it.
Everyone
so
has
I have
their own way to deal with it.
Right, and I have to respect that. But
I'm
I think
going to come back to the Dairy Queen issue and how you're using it, but anything else on this misconception issue?
Yeah, I speak mostly to first responders.
Yeah.
And the misconception that they face most is that people feel if the doctors and nurses find out they're a donor, they won't work hard to save their life.
Deal with that head up.
And I always tell them that the last people that'll know that you're a donor are the people working on you, because their job is to save their life, save your life. And, you know, the people in the hospital, they want to save your life.
That's right.
You know, and if it is your time, that's when the conversation starts. And, you know, for first responders, I always tell them, you know, you make the decision. You make the decision for you, but more importantly, have the conversation. And I think it's conversations that are actually starting to change these myths. And it's education and awareness and
Jump back in.
Yeah, I agree with that because I'm on a donor council at the hospital, and if you really listen to the intensivists and the nurses, they really try their hardest to make sure that they do the best for the patient.
Absolutely.
But the other issue is that really it's a different group that takes over for the organ donation. It's like the sharing network that will come in and basically they're trained to talk to the family and so on and so forth. But the commitment from the people that are in the intensive care units, it's unbelievable. It really is.
Talk about Dairy Queen. How do you use it?
You know, it started when we were in the hospital, Steve. The sun was rising. Mom and I shared a room, and the sun comes up, and she wakes up feeling better for the first time. And she looks to me and she says, "Thank you for saving my life." And that deep down touch that I felt from her at that point, that's what our customers experience. They're not really customers. They're part of our Dairy Queen family. The stories on the wall. We have 3,000 square feet. We're in Plainfield. Everybody comes. They know the story. And one woman came one day, and she's hanging back. Everybody comes to the counter. They want their ice cream. They want to go. But
So the family's been in Dairy Queen business for a long time.
40 years.
40 years, okay.
40 years. So she finally comes to the counter. I said, well, you know, what can I do for you? She says, nothing really. She said, I make her tell her story. She needs a kidney. She has nobody to donate. She comes because she feels inspired by my mom and I to see how well we're doing. I make her tell me her brother's name, who's reluctant to donate. I cry as I send this heartfelt email to him. He changes his mind. 6 months later, she comes back to the Dairy Queen. She comes behind the counter, which nobody does. And I had only met her one time. I didn't really remember her face. She gives me this huge hug and says to me those same words, "Thank you for saving my life." I mean, you know, what's more important? What's more important than touching people, moving people? And that's what the Celebration of Life does.
Yeah.
We bring thousands,
That's right.
10,000 people together. You don't have to race, you don't have to walk. Come, have a free ice cream, get a sausage and pepper sandwich, read all the stories.
Sausage and pepper. That's how you gave up how you're Italian, right there.
Well, yeah,
you gave it up right there. Who else says that you come for a sausage? By the way, so you come on June 7th, right?
June 7th, New Providence.
You do the walk, you do the run.
If you want.
And then you do sausage and pepper.
And then you do the sausage and pepper.
In which order, by the way?
Well.
Got a few minutes left. Messages to people watching out there right now who, again, are inspired and motivated, but just not sure because they say, hey, they wonder how your son's doing right now. They wonder what his health is like. He gave you his
kidney.
Talk about how he's doing.
He's doing great. He's going to be finishing school in August, and he's moving on with his life. And, you know, we banter back and forth, and he was like, "Ma, we're even now." And I was like, no, not really, no. You know, it's just, you know what, just think about it. Get educated on it. Just don't say no because you're scared.
And
Educate
I should
yourself.
also say this, so I can be in this conversation as a participant as well. My wife, Jen, who has now one kidney and 3 kids, she's doing well, works out every day, and is healthy. And I do ask her, like, do you feel any effects? And the answer is no.
No.
And I have yet to hear a story of someone saying they're struggling because they donated an organ. I mean, it may be out there. I just have not heard it. Go ahead.
Did you check your box?
Yes, of course. What are you kidding me? You think hold on. Tell everyone what that means, because you think I'm going to do this show and do this whole thing? Tell everyone what that means, will you?
Check the box. Have the conversation.
Yes.
When it's time to renew your license.
Yes.
If you've made the decision that you feel good about, check the box. But more importantly, tell all your loved ones.
Right.
So God forbid they're in a situation where they're asked the question, you
I always
already
tell
have the
people-
answer.
Steve.
Do me a favor, Terry, our floor manager, go get me my license, because...
Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it.
Jump in.
I just wanted to tell you, Steve, I'm celebrating my 10th.
I'm only kidding, Terry. Go ahead.
Celebrating my 10th year of my liver transplant.
Congratulations.
Thank God. And if you remember, you had said that I had hepatitis C. Well, I was able to stick around long enough now to have excellent treatments for hepatitis C. I took the treatment. Basically, the virus is not detected in me anymore. So it's just amazing.
congratulations.
You know, one thing leads to another, and I'm able to see my kids graduate and so on and so forth.
Final words on your end.
I always tell people that the conversation Mike and I had was that night we gave each other an unwrapped gift. And I was able to open that present in the emergency room because I didn't have to think about it, and I've never looked back on that decision. And it was just, it's the hardest conversation you'll ever have, but the most rewarding.
You never look back.
Never.
It's a gift you give to your family.
Never,
when you
never
share
had
your wishes.
And for those people, those 57 people whose lives are better because of what you and Mike did, we have no words to say thank you to you, Pam, and to you, Donna, and to Tracy, and to Larry, and to the people at the Sharing Network who helped identify all of you, and for your dedication, your commitment, and we wish you nothing but the best. And I hope that this program has helped inspire people to go on that website, find out more, and to listen. It's your decision, but man, you can really make a difference. We cannot thank all of you enough. Thank you.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and 13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by TD Bank, the New Jersey Education Association, University Hospital, Newark, New Jersey, QualCare Inc., the Russell Berry Foundation, the Ohlendorf Center, and by Caldwell University. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
Seeing science in action makes students realize they can learn.
What is that organelle called? Elizabeth.
With the right tools, it's easy to motivate students.
Students need to know science to succeed in the global economy.
That's why NJA established the Center for Teaching and Learning.
To give teachers the training to make science come alive and to keep New Jersey schools among the best in the nation.
That's why we are so proud
to teach in New Jersey's public schools.